When Alien Isolation hit digital shelves back on October 7th, 2014, it took the gaming world by storm. To a certain point, it felt like every major YouTuber was taking time to delve headfirst into the horrifically engrossing world the developers had set forth, and face off against the incredibly detailed xenomorph AI hunting them at every turn. However, the studio didn't appear to share the same positive goodwill towards the game, and after revealing the game's total sales numbers of 2.1 million sold copies, Sega deemed the game a unmitigated commercial failure, and canned all plans for a potential sequel. However, after years of persistent on and off outcry over the lack of a new installment in the Alien video game series, Fox, the original film studio behind the Alien films, and the current rights holder of the Alien IP, commissioned their own mobile game division, Fox Next, which at that time had only produced a handful of casual mobile games, to helm production of a new mobile spin-off of Alien Isolation. The goal being to temporarily quench the thirst of the Alien fanbase and specifically kill off any potential hope for a full console or PC Alien Isolation sequel by resolving the original Isolation story to the best of their ability within the constraints of a mobile platform. Today we're going to judge whether or not they succeeded in that particular department. Given the degree of scope and creative freedom a console or PC game can offer to developers compared to the inherent restrictions of the current gen mobile platforms, I don't think I need to tell you that they didn't. This is WarriorDan and welcome to another episode of What is the Point Of, a series where we attempt to break down individual games, like Legos, and try to see what components work and which don't, and attempt to educate potential buyers to help you avoid making bad purchases. And boy, we're gonna have some fun with this one. You start off the game resuming the role of Amanda Ripley, the protagonist from Isolation. You find yourself on a different ship than you were last on, but once again, a lone xenomorph has survived yet another impossible situation and has somehow come aboard with you, and has already murdered the rest of the ship's original crew. You were, once again, the sole survivor. I always have to laugh a bit internally whenever a game series keeps up the continual farce of a lone survivor not only being the lone survivor once, but continuously having enough luck and potentially divine intervention that they repeatedly survive long enough to retain that role in almost any circumstance. It works, and I'm not going to begrudge the game too much, as it is a pretty common narrative trope, especially in gaming. Just look at how Lara Croft, in every single Tomb Raider game, finds everyone around her dead and her alone, pitted against impossible odds. It's a bit of a cliche, but nothing more than that. The game starts with a rescue ship arriving after Amanda has sent out a distress call. Amanda quickly explains the situation to the new arrivals, and they form an uneasy alliance to find out what happened, discover any of her potential survivors, if any, all while trying to avoid the constantly stalking xenomorph. Using a handheld tablet, Amanda can monitor surveillance cameras, open and close doors, and detect potential xenomorph activity in specific key parts of the ship. Now let's get the elephant out of the room. Surveillance cameras, monitoring doors, and an ever-moving AI trying to outsmart you. What possible game series do these mechanics remind you of? Yeah, it's kind of hard to avoid the direct FNAF comparison, no matter which way you look at it, but the presence of formulaic similarities does not mean that the games are, or have to be, identical in every way. The one most notable deviation from the traditional FNAF formula is the layer of real-time strategy components layered over it, commanding individual units to respond to a set of direct, distinct, and varying commands in real time, monitoring their health and other attribute values, and micromanaging their movement in order to point them towards their current objective is a gameplay style most strongly associated with classic RTS games like StarCraft. Finally, it's time to address the main star in the room, or the alien in the room as it were, the xenomorph. The xenomorph is easily one of the scariest horror monsters ever to be introduced in cinema, and as we saw with the release of Alien Isolation, for the sake of everyone present, we're going to pretend that alien colonial marines never happened, the stealthy and excessively violent xenomorph is just as terrifying in video game form as in film, if not dramatically more so, due to the interactive nature of video games. But here, Alien Blackout commits its most blatant and unforgivable gaming sin, transforming the xenomorph from an unpredictable, versatile, and deadly deadly adversary, capable of not only reacting to your every move, but anticipating your future moves as well, and 2, an unwelcome overnight stalker, stomping around and screeching at the top of its lungs, announcing its every move for the world to hear, the complete opposite of what any actual natural predator would do.
Get the fuck over here, bitch!
That was close.
The xenomorph was so effective at killing in the films, games, and other alien mediums because it was essentially the perfect natural predator of humans and other sentient bipedal creatures. The xenomorph featured here would have trouble hunting even the most dim-witted of rabbits. The only times I've died in this game were either due to me wasting too much power and as a result being auto-killed, just like in the FNAF games, or because the game didn't recognize my touch and wouldn't let me close the vent to stop the xenomorph from crawling towards me at a agonizingly slow speed that even a sloth would be proud of. The game's trailer does such a misleading job of conveying the actual degree of xenomorph AI design, it's downright fallacious. In my hours of play, never once did I see the xenomorph running on all fours, crawling on the ceilings or walls, or frankly do anything other than just stomp around loudly on 2 feet. From a canonical perspective, this game without exception single-handedly manages to bungle and devolve every otherwise normally interesting and terrifying aspect of a true alien experience. From a purely gameplay experience, there is some elementary fun to be had, but it quickly becomes tedious and repetitive, breaking the tension with undue amounts of familiarity. Were I a teacher and this developer my student, with this game being a homework assignment, this would be the type of endeavor I'd pull out my big red stamp mark and mark with a monumental F. Does this game have potential? Yes, but it's not simply enough to have potential though. You must have the drive and inspiration to make the most of that potential, and deliver a creative masterpiece that you can be proud of, even if no one else is. In the case of this game, I don't know if anyone on the development team over at Fox Next can consider themselves proud of this game. Relieved to no longer be working on it, maybe. Or at the least, they can rest easy knowing that they at least didn't descend down to the level upon which alien colonial marines will forever reside, in the eyes of gamers. At any rate, that wraps us up for this What Is the Point of video. Hope you've enjoyed this newest episode. I'll be back with a new review video next Friday, so stick around, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe and opt into getting notifications so you know exactly when the next episode goes live. Let me know what you think of Alien Blackout and this review video down in the comments below. This is WarriorDan signing out. Stay awesome everybody, and peace out.